do you think? Can Ukraine become a member of European Union before the end of the war?
Well, it depends when the war ends and what do we consider the end of this existential war, because Ukrainians haven't started fighting in February 2020,
Yes,
2022, neither in March 2014. We're trying to explain that this existential war has been going on for centuries, and the history, the culture, the language, everything that Russia inherited from us, from Ukraine, and is trying to steal today. That's what we are really fighting for. The European project was founded for the purpose of preserving peace on the continent, not to be fighting the wars. However, Russia is challenging the EU project, and Ukraine has become a real shield for it. We do understand now, and I think the Union understood it finally, that without Ukraine, it will not be as strong and successful. So we can talk about different countries, but if it's particularly Ukraine, largest country in the world, the grain basket of the world, huge territory and huge potential and opportunities, in some ways, EU can be threatened, for instance, in economy. But that's another question. Will it be successful for both sides? For sure.
What do you think? Will the end of the war sort of speed up our membership in the EU?
I think yes. However, there are technicalities which we are fulfilling regardless of the progress on the ground, as of to say, counteroffensive operation, if it's going well. However, in many interviews, I try to publicly address the question that it's the brave armed forces of Ukraine who are also speeding up European integration process. That's for sure, because we would want to be a member as of the borders of 1991. And that means we really need to liberate all temporary occupied territories. So indeed, one day, and I believe that it will be within not decades, but earlier, we have a good opportunity to become a full member, and it's a very positive signal that there is a call from the European Commission, it's the government of the EU, to start to open the negotiations.
What do you think? Why Ukraine is so attractive for the EU for the first place? How can Ukraine, in general, strengthen the EU?
The philosophy of this Eastern Partnership approach was set up in 2009. Back then, the Prime Minister of Poland and Sweden thought about Eastern flank, because in 2004, there was a huge enlargement of the Eastern flank. 10 countries joined, including our neighbors, Slovakia, Poland, and others. 2013, Croatia joined. Now it's up to us whether Moldova, Ukraine, probably Georgia and others will be next.
Who will be the first?
Exactly. I think we are pioneering the process. We are definitely pioneering the process because of the document we have looked through being finalized by European Commission. We have made enormous progress because it is currently happening during still the full-scale invasion. It hasn't stopped. And we are being under European integration not only for the last 9-10 years of war, but even before. I would like to say probably not very popular thing, but the team of the president who did not sign association agreement in 2013, the team of Yanukovych, made a very good technical document to be signed. But then the power of people, the power of students, the power of freedom boosted this process. And it's also about the people on the ground who are the most important, because it's about agriculture sector, education, business, small, medium enterprises. It's about daily life. It's even about this glass of water and the safety of the water and the glass which touches the water. So a European integration is everywhere. And because of this, many technicalities, processes of liberation of territories, us winning the war together with the EU, securing the EU, they all can go along. But there are rules to be fulfilled.
Rules to be fulfilled. This is very essential, but here is the problem. Such countries as Hungary, sometimes Bulgaria, let's talk about Hungary. Traditionally, this country traditionally and expectedly prevented Ukraine from joining the EU. Decisions in the European Union are made by consensus, and we know this. And it seems like this is like dead end. And this situation with the process of making decisions in the within EU, it's very resemble to the situation with United Nations Security Council.
Yeah, that's a
isn't
disaster.
Yes,
I think United Nations Security Council is a total disaster because illegally Russia has a seat there and no one gave her its seat. And actually, Russia should never be in the UN because it should have entered as a new process. And that's a side question, which is also a need of reform in the UN. However, I totally agree with you, Carolina. The rules of accession, which requires unanimity, so all 27 have to say yes to our status of candidate, as it's been done June 2022. And currently we have a new challenge. Mid-December, there will be EU-Ukraine summit, as it's used to be always to be held in Brussels. And Hungary can become a problem with their open speeches. Yeah, well, we wouldn't want that to be so, because we see that Hungarian people do support temporarily relocated persons. They support Ukrainians in our aspirations. Even Mr. Orban, as currently the Prime Minister, is openly saying, I am in favor of the EU process for Ukraine, but point number 7 in the requirements being on the table from European Commission, the national minorities issue. I do think it's a completely political question, and that's why it's been mingled around from different corners, even though we voted 2 laws already. And we work with Venice Commission to say, look, okay, we know that we have 153,000 Hungarian minority living in Zakarpattia region.
So now you are talking about the roadmap, yes?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
My next question was
what's
right
next?
exactly about this.
In December, we will understand whether we were successful in lobbying, and we have a support of France, Germany, Austria, even, which was not very certain even about our candidate status, but they will help us to promote the issue because it's a political decision finally. It's going to be leaders of 27 to open finally the negotiations. About the roadmap, what is more or less left in the menu, yes, for us to fulfill? The European Commission said we have fulfilled 4 out of 7 of the criteria, even though I'm not very, I don't agree to that. I think it was a little bit more than that. However, the item number 7, the minorities, we still can work on it with the Venice Commission. It's an organization which is in the Council of Europe, where we work with 46 states. We expelled Russia, so it's now 46 states. I think we are committing to human rights in terms also to the right of being educated in your native language, whether that is Hungarian, Romanian, Bulgarian. We have more than 150 different nationalities in Ukraine, and we give this right to them in schooling. But these children have to know Ukrainian as a state language. Sure. And I think when we come to Budapest and we try to study there, we are offered to learn. Yeah, we are offered to learn German, Hungarian, Polish. We are not coming to Slovakia and we're not saying, look, we have a huge group of Ukrainians here. Everything will be in Ukraine.
Schools,
yeah, they did, and we are very appreciating that. But if we talk about state institutions, we have to respect state language, as same as we have to respect the minority language. And you know, I think, Carolina, we have to ask one question. Why is it so that it happens only with Hungary or partially with Romania? We have amended the law twice, as I said. We are ready to do more, but we are not ready to give up on the status of the Ukrainian language. And I think this is what we also fight for in the battlefield and in diplomacy.